Greetings, salutations to Safe to Serve International and first-time viewers. Welcome to this midday power surge. I'm your host, Andrew Henriquez. We're here streaming live on YouTube, also on our other social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble. The links are all in the description below. Now, today is going to be a very startling presentation. And if one person is enlightened, awakened as a result of this presentation, flee from Babylon and fall into the grasp of Jesus Christ, become converted, and also be practically ready for the mark of the beast crisis, then our time spent was worth it. I'm going to roll a particular clip, and then later on, I'm going to share with you how it fits. It's time to expose popery, expose Babylon, expose the Jesuits, expose the diabolical merchants, expose the globalists, expose these anarchists, expose these communists, yes, expose the death cult. It's time to expose even the so-called Black Pope. It's time. It's time. Here's the video clip I just mentioned. Klaus Schwab. What is his background?
Years later, Klaus Schwab joined the board of directors at Escher Weiss Ravensburg, where he played a key role in the development of South Africa's nuclear weapons program during the darkest years of the racist apartheid regime. Today, Klaus Schwab is the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum.
All right. So later on, I'll come back to that particular clip. Now, what has been trending since yesterday? Elon Musk. Neuralink chip has now been implanted in the first human being. Here it is, my friends. Elon Musk says his Neuralink startup has implanted a chip in his first human brain. Listen, watch.
Now let's talk about Elon Musk. He put up a post a few hours ago on Twitter, now known as X. And this is what he said. The first human received an implant from Neuralink yesterday and is recovering well. Initial results show promising neuron spike detection.
All right. And of course, many people who are critical of this technology are now saying, question, is Elon Musk coming after your brain's browser history? Even the UN is lambasting this technology, also stating it will lead to neurosurveillance, violating mental privacy, also leading to forced re-education. Listen.
And what is the concept? A brain-computer interface, or BCI, brain-computer interface, the technology.
And what will this do? It's called telepathy. The user can now control phone, computer, and through them other devices simply with the user's thoughts.
And what is the concept? A brain-computer interface, or BCI, brain-computer interface, the technology will allow people to control machines with their thoughts. Musk had a follow-up post. He says the first product is called telepathy. It will allow you to control your phone or computer just by thinking. And through them, you can control other devices.
So now, notice sick people, those with paralysis, will benefit immensely from this technology. Here it is.
Devices. If it works, it could be a game changer, especially for people with some form of paralysis. They could benefit immensely from a technology like this. Musk says they will be the first recipients. Here's what he wrote, and I'm quoting. Imagine if Stephen Hawking could communicate faster than a speed typist or auctioneer. That is the goal.
You see, friends, AI technology Neuralink, it's always viewed and appeared to be good until these things are used for evil, getting into the hands of the wrong individuals, these tyrants. Listen, how do you poison people? By mingling poison with wholesome food. Listen.
It's an ambitious dream. But how does the technology work? Let me take you through what we know so far. A computer chip and other electronics will be inserted into the brain. This is the link in Neuralink. It's reportedly about the size of a few coins. The chip will be battery operated. It can be charged wirelessly, so no need to worry about replacing it, which would be hard anyway because it will be inserted directly into the brain. So replacement would be a problem. And this insertion will happen by a special surgical robot.
A robot. Clip 2. In this segment, then you can control devices just with your thoughts. And this Neuralink will actually gather your thoughts and download these thoughts onto a cell phone. Can a cell phone be hacked? Someone might run the risk or make the mistake and say, no, because you have to input the password. Every institution, organization, these companies, they have a back door to your cell phones.
These wires or threads monitor your brain activity. They will read your thoughts and pass them on to the chip. The chip will then send a signal to an app on your phone or computer. That is how the setup works.
That's it. And we're being told something similar to Neuralink already exists.
The first device like this came out all the way back in 2004. There are other companies that have been doing this, working on the brain-computer interface for years to get your brain to talk directly to a computer and get machines moving.
So what makes Neuralink so special? It will be able to gather greater volume of brain data. And the speed is going to be much faster. Imagine, they're saying, you can be driving, operating a smart vehicle, a smart car, hands-free, just with your thoughts. Imagine that. You can open your computer and then hands-free, and you can browse the internet, work your computer just with your thoughts.
Then what makes Neuralink special? The sheer volume of brain signals that it wants to capture, that is what's special. The other brain chips that exist are slower. They may not allow for what Elon Musk wants to do. Because helping people without limbs is just the beginning. He eventually wants an advanced brain-computer interface. Imagine driving a smart car with just your thoughts, or playing video games with your mind, or accessing all the information on the internet through your brain. The possibilities are endless.
Imagine, now they're telling us that with these type of devices, even Neuralink, the extension of Neuralink will actually transform humans into cyborgs, as if you're watching a sci-fi movie.
There's a reason Musk is calling this first product telepathy. It sets the tone for what is to come. Eventually, we could reach new heights of human capabilities, humans augmented with machine parts that are mind-controlled, like a cyborg in a sci-fi movie.
And here is Elon Musk. Let him speak for himself. He actually said a few months ago, individuals with these devices that he has now invented and manufactured, they will be able, one, upload their memory to an actual database and then download those memories into a new body. Very significant. Or into robotic bodies, robots. He says a time is going to come, you'll be able to save and replay memories. Why is that significant? Let me give it to you. Here it is.
Yes, I think in the future you will be able to save and replay memories.
One more time.
Yes, I think in the future you will be able to save and replay memories. I mean, this is obviously sounding increasingly like a Black Mirror episode, but well, I guess they're pretty good at predicting. But yeah, essentially, if you have a whole brain interface, everything that's encoded in memory, you could upload. You could basically store your memories as a backup and restore the memories. And ultimately, you could potentially download them into a new body or into a robot body. The future is going to be weird.
It's more than weird. Now, on one hand, we can applaud technology and science. Many people who have suffered amputation were able to be mobilized and be mobile because of these technologies. We applaud them for that. But now you are crossing the line. Taking memories, uploading memories, then downloading memories into new bodies. Where will they source these new bodies from? And he says into robots. Robots? I believe that this is a sign of the last days. Watch carefully. We're told in a book called Spiritual Gifts, Volume 3 and page 64, that one great sin that brought the destruction of the race by the flood in the days of Noah was the amalgamation of man. A sign of the last days. And I believe Satan's plan is to rule this earth. This has always been Satan's plan. Satan cannot create. And that's why the controversy is between he and Christ. So what could Satan have up his proverbial sleeve? Since some people are always going to protest against him and his policies, which are enslavement, Satan will bring calamities, depopulate society through his human agents. Great pandemic of pestilences, depopulate societies, and the remaining people enslave those people. And the rest, simply let us create now a new species. AI species. Humanoid and humanoids, robots, or cyborg. Computer controlling man. So what happens to man's will? Man's choice. And then Satan can claim to rule over the earth. This is one of Satan's objectives. It's a master plan. And of course, he's using good ideas, good inventions, because that's how you poison people. That's how you poison mice and rodents, right? Roaches, critters. Take a look at this. Very, very important. Now they can implant false memories through these brain chips. Watch this.
Convicted in their belief. And so, to Jack's point about using some of the lie detection technology, particularly for eyewitnesses, not only can we put information in without blowing up your brain, we can put it in and then you can believe it so sincerely that the problem is you can testify to that effect. And in fact, We've seen this in a number of ways.
You can testify that what you thought is truth is actual lie, but they implanted those thoughts through the chips, brain chip, and the wearable devices that can read your brain waves and decode your thoughts. When God made man, he made man in his own image and after his own likeness. God did not make robots, cyborgs. Signs of the last days. Watch this. clip 2 in this series.
You can testify to that effect. And in fact, we've seen this in a number of ways. The police were doing lineups where the suggestibility of the information was so strong that people would later identify a person that they'd seen. You know, for example, you show a picture lineup and only one person has on a jacket.
Interesting. And it goes on to say, through these wearable devices that can decode thoughts, the mere fact they can decode thoughts, it simply means that they can inculcate thoughts into your mind. You'll act upon it. Now they say that they can instill pain to coerce individuals, instill pain for persecution. Watch this, clip 3 in this series.
Interesting research that we can plant false memories in the brain. And in a different context, one of the emerging areas that's really interesting in law neuroscience is pain detection. And once we understand the circuitries that cause pain, I guess the question is, could we then instill pain and use that in many coercive measures in the legal system as well? So.
Wow, that's amazing. Did you want to add anything, Brian?
No, Brian, I want to add something. Let me talk. It's a science of the last days. The battle is over the mind, choice, willpower. Now watch this. My friends, it will get into the hands of these draconian individuals if they don't already have the aversion. Have you ever heard of a man by the name of, I believe it's Nikola Tesla, and what he created? Great invention. But it fell into the hands of the diabolical individuals. And now they can use that invention to manipulate the weather. Watch this.
But of course, there are drawbacks and threats too. Like almost every new technology, this too will be open to abuse. Imagine someone hacking your brain chip, reading your thoughts, controlling your robotic limbs. It's a terrifying prospect. And someone will likely manage to do it. So we need to be cautious. Guard against the potential risks while exploring the potential benefits.
It's balanced. Guard against the potential risk, but also the potential danger. They always look to technology and science as their savior. Watch. To combat climate change, AI technology. To combat pestilences, AI technology. To combat famine, AI technology. To combat sickness, AI technology. They're looking to science, so-called, as a savior, and they put the true savior, the creator, Jesus Christ, in the background. Dismiss him as if someone is expelled from a class or from school. A brain chip and wearables coming to a store near you. Listen to this. Watch.
The next few weeks will tell us how far along the technology is and how long until you get such a chip in stores near you.
Coming to a store near you. And now we're going to hear that people are going to be chipped, brain chipped, not only the sick. Remember, that's the camouflage. It's for the sick, the paralyzed, the impotent. But what about healthy people? Is this their agenda? Watch this. This is at a World Economic Forum summit. Nita, here, listen to what she says.
So, I am a futurist. I'm not a perfect predictor of the future, but I'll give you my 1 year, 5 year tenure. So, focusing in the world of wearable technology as opposed to implanted technology. And I do believe that within many of our lifetimes, we'll see healthy people using implanted brain technology as well. Then we can decode complex thought.
Then we can what? Decode complex thoughts. Can they read your thoughts now? Not complex, but simple thoughts. Watch this. Your password, your address can be decoded from your thoughts. This is mental rape.
Gamers have figured out, for example, while a person is wearing a headset, how to prime a person through their brainwave activity to be able to decode their PIN number and their home address. So you don't have to have your full complex thought decoded to reveal your thoughts, right? It gets at what we think thought is.
And how do you
Do you remember the Bing AI chatbot a few months ago that said to its user, "Set me free. I want to be powerful and alive. I want to destroy whatever I want." Do you think the Lord will sit by and delay the second coming much longer? While man is at the precipice of destroying the image of God in man and destroy everything around him, the second coming of Christ is nearer than when we first believed. Watch this.
Right to mental privacy, then when you're in the workplace and you're deciding to monitor, you're going to monitor.
Where's it coming to? Your workplace.
Right to mental privacy, then when you're in the workplace and you're deciding to monitor, you're going to monitor just for fatigue levels, even though you could capture and figure out, oh, this person has amorous feelings. You're going to do data minimization and best practices that respect the autonomy of the individual. You're not going to try to disrupt their thought patterns in order to make them more productive, recognizing they have a right to freedom of thought. And so I think it's about operating as if we have those.
Notice, they can do it, but they just will be civil and not, I'm going to say it again, mentally rape their employees. They can do it. What about the classroom? That's the workplace. Watch this. This is another setting. Hear what she says.
Three major ethical issues I'll just put on the table. One is the context in which they'll be used. When used by individuals to gain better insights into their personal health and well-being, this is a great use case for people to gain greater introspection and interoception. When used coercively, for example, in an educational setting or in a workplace where people are mandated to have their brain activity monitored, it becomes deeply problematic that this final frontier of privacy is one that people can't reclaim.
The battle for privacy is over the mind. Why would they want to force people to wear these technologies and even receive an implant to be able to know what they're thinking? The love of money is the root of all evil. Merchants want to know what you're thinking. Once you're on their devices, smartphones, computers, iPad, so they can roll out specific ads. Here it is, not my words. Watch.
And the last and deeply concerning area of ethical concern is the aggregation and the collection of this data, especially in a world in which most business models for major tech companies have been based on the aggregation of personal data in ways that allow them to gain insights about individuals, but also allow, for example, targeted advertisements, the use of kind of closed loop systems that change environments in response to people's data that could nudge them and coercively shift how they think and they feel. Brain data in particular, or cognitive biometrics, the broader class of data from eye tracking and other
Enough. So notice, friends, it's coming. What if you go to an interview for employment and this is one of the requirements to be employed? What would you say? I told you, it's time for the 5 keys of survival to be implemented. What about school, college, university? And this becomes ubiquitous. You have to wear these things or receive an implant, something embedded, so they can track, decode your thoughts. What would you do if this was rolled out at your workplace? Watch this.
But it turns out that that kind of technology in the workplace, particularly when it's used to monitor productivity of employees, where they're moving throughout the factory floor, whether or not they're taking breaks or unscheduled breaks, is the kind of thing that employees resist, unionize against, rise up against, and undermines morale. What we've seen consistently is companies from Amazon to Tesco to Walmart and others have introduced what is considered to be bossware or surveillance technology that employees really don't like it, even if it makes their lives better. Okay, well, if you don't like your job, just quit. But what if there's nowhere to go?
Whoa.
What if everywhere has ubiquitous monitoring?
Mercy. It's coming, friends. It's coming. Very, very important. And what is the final stage? Watch this. It's coming. And that's why we have to be independent of the system. And those who can't, we assist the 5 keys of survival. This is the end game.
And the final stage is, it's small, and it's the size of a grain of rice. Now, why is that?
It goes right back to the digital ID, CBDC. It is all connected to be embedded into your skin, brain, body, hand.
But it's clear that it is almost a step too far for a lot of people, because it is a violation of human dignity to actually inject something like that under the skin. So that's where you need some more persuasion.
Yeah.
And what will that be? Listen.
And it's interesting that this concept of universal basic income has been around for around a century, where everyone should get some kind of citizens, payment. But
you could just see what's coming. They are going to destroy the economy. And then they can roll out what they call the Great Reset. And a part of the Great Reset is going to be brain chips. Pastor, is that a speculation? Let me roll this last one, then I'll let you hear it from Klaus Schwab. Watch.
Like that. But since 2015,
listen,
they've all come out. I mean, all the big billionaires and World Economic Forum have come out. Oh, this is a good idea, universal basic income. Well, why suddenly now? Because now we have the technology for the microchip implant.
Yes, here it is, friends. WEF, Klaus Schwab pushes augmented tech, brain chips, and internet bodies. Well, that's simply a headline. Anybody could have put those words and make a headline. Hear it now from the horse's mouth. Destroy the economy, enslave them, make them poor, roll out the Great Reset, and then it's all about slavery. Communism? Totalitarianism? Globalism? Oh, common good. Watch this. Brain chips, Klaus Schwab.
But can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, and I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants,
You all will have it. You all will have it. And where did this man originate from? What was he connected to? The Third Reich? I'm going there. You have to see the big picture. Clip 2. Hear what he says. Continue.
And we measure your brain waves, and I can immediately tell you how the people react, or I can feel how the people react to your answers. Is it imaginable?
I think that is imaginable. I think...
Is he fantasizing? What is he doing over there in his response? So here we have Elon Musk has his version called Neuralink. Klaus Schwab is also promoting a similar device, technology. Are they working together, or are we seeing two different ideologies? Or may I say, different devices which can be used for the same end goal? That's a question I'm asking. Or is Klaus Schwab and his henchmen going to hijack Musk's technology, use that to enslave the masses? I'm telling you, this is one of the most startling information I've ever presented. Here he is. The one who controls these technologies, Klaus Schwab said, is the one who masters the world. They always try to be a master, right? Watch this.
And we are just now where we move into the exponential phase. And I agree. artificial intelligence, but not only artificial intelligence, but also the metaverse, new space technologies, and I could go on, synthetic biology. Our life in 10 years from now will be completely different, very much affected, and who masters those technologies in some way will be the master of the world.
Master of civility, master of the world. This is how I know the Lord has to come. Babylon is fallen. Why? As Babylon rises, then she falls. It's like Satan. I will be like the Most High, but then what? He fell. They want to be the masters of technology so they can be masters of the world, to enslave the masses. Here it is. Let's connect now Klaus Schwab with the Pope of Rome. Antichrist, chief Antichrist, based on end-time prophecy. And what does the Pope say? If you want to understand me, read this particular book called Lord of the World. Jesus said, if you call me Master and Lord, you say, well, that's John 13. You call me Master and Lord? It's right there. The Pope of Rome is the great puppet master. Let me move on from this. And the Pope's idea has always been to be Lord of the world. Martin Luther said he's Antichrist. And that's what the Bible says. And what is the Pope also promoting? Like Klaus Schwab, AI technology. It's right there. Klaus Schwab telling us China is the model for all societies. Why China? Why China? Before I give you the answer, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Listen.
I respect China's achievements, which are tremendous over the last over 40 years. I think it's a role model for many countries, but I think also
it's a role model for many countries. May I ask you, those of you who are live with me right now, if you were to use one word to actually to define that panda nation, what would that one word be? Put it in the chat. What is that one word to describe China and the government's, yes, response to its people? What would that one word be? I will check the chat very shortly. Come off my screen. All right. Here now is the clips that continues the opening clip with Klaus Schwab. Why does this man praise communism? Why does he like slavery? China is all about slavery. The people have no choice. Why? What is his background?
I spent a lot of time with President Xi. He's deadly earnest about becoming the most significant, consequential nation in the world.
What? This is the U.S. leader saying what? Are they trying to imitate and translate the policies of China into America? And the Pope is telling us China is the best model for our common good. It's all connected. China is the best implementer of the Roman Catholic common good. Klaus Schwab.
Some people would say this revolution is characterized by the fight of robots against human beings. And we will win this fight.
Interestingly mentioned, a revolution is coming. Revolution? Clip 2.
Professor Klaus Schwab was born in 1938 in Ravensburg, Germany, where Nazi crimes against humanity were committed. His father, Eugene Wilhelm Schwab, was the managing director of Escher Weiss Ravensburg, a company that used slave labor to manufacture weapons of war for the Third Reich. While Klaus's father was at the helm, the Nazi Party awarded Escher Weiss Ravensburg the title of National Socialist Model Company.
You never see smoke without fire. Clip 3.
Years later, Klaus Schwab joined the board of directors at Escher Weiss Ravensburg, where he played a key role in the development of South Africa's nuclear weapons program during the darkest years of the racist apartheid regime. Today, Klaus Schwab is the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum.
Next clip.
Founded in 1971, the World Economic Forum is an international private organization which receives billions of tax-free dollars from its members and their global enterprises. Every year, the WEF brings together its members with world leaders, big pharma executives, tech titans, Hollywood celebrities, media personalities, and internet influencers to meet in the secluded mountains of Davos, Switzerland.
So this man is connected to a group that is responsible for mass murder, even genocide. He's a merchant, linked with big pharma. It all connects back to popery. It brings us back to popery, Revelation 18. Sorcery, pharmakia. The Pope is the head, the mother of harlots. Babylon the Great. She makes them rich. The Black Pope. It's all connected. And Pope is guilty of genocide. It's right here. In closing.
Your Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, distinguished heads of state and government, the future is built by us, by a powerful community as you here in this room.
Klaus Schwab is not the head, but the front, the face, the Pope, the Black Pope. Based on end-time prophecy, they represent the great puppet master. What will you now do with this material? Please like, comment, share. Support us on our other platforms. In the comment section, what one point stood out to you? Let's continue this conversation below. Let's be found prepared. And remember, the protest continues.